everybody, Pandi here. Hey guys, what is going on? Pandi here of Pandi's Hair, Candy, and More. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. If you are already Pandi's peeps and we are already chat family, you already know what it is. Kick back and relax and enjoy this commentary. Let me take a deep breath, y'all. So I'm just coming on real quick because I want to vent. Like, okay, I was on YouTube earlier, right? And I came across a content creator's notification. You know, I'm subscribed. She's dope. She's always putting information out here that's going to keep us aware of our surroundings. And I was on my way out the door as I was listening to her pre-recorded video earlier, and I was a little bit shocked because I pride myself on being privy to pretty much what's going on in the world. But you know, it's impossible for us to stay current with all breaking news stories. So I had missed this one. And this is what I love about her channel. It's guaranteed that if I miss something, she's going to have it. So with that being said, because I was so intrigued by the level of severity and the urgency in the video, once I came back home today from being out and about, running my errands, cooking dinner, did me a couple of lives here on my channel, and then I was kind of like chat hopping, just trying to support the content creators that I'm also subscribed to, you know, because this is a whole village thing. It's like if you don't have people really rocking with you and playing your videos, commenting on your videos, running your playlists and all of that, you're just not going to get off the ground. So it's a process. So anyway, I was doing my process, right? And so I'm finally just now getting settled. It's almost midnight. It's late. But before I went to bed, I wanted to kind of read up on the story for myself and just try to make some sense because like I said, when I saw the information in her video earlier this afternoon, I was on my way out the door and I just kind of commented to her, you know, thanking her for sharing the story. I really appreciate this sister's channel. Um, and I'm not calling any names, not because I don't want to give anyone any shine or anything like that, but you know, these type of stories sometimes come with unwanted attention, and so just to be fair, she knows who she is, and she responded to me for the comment that I left. So, but I wanted to just kind of dissect this a little further because I mean we're already at the point of this being disturbing, okay? But now we are, I don't even know what this next level is called, okay? We are already seeing a record number of protests going on, and I'm trying to get comfortable here. We're seeing a record number of protests going on. We're seeing a record number of cases involving police officers all over the country with African American people. And for the most part, it has been with men and young boys. But it's now starting to be like an influx where we're now seeing women actually being targeted. And I spoke about this in a previous live because, I expressed concern for my own personal safety with just driving around and being in a vehicle by myself, alone. Like, I have my reasons for not wanting to do it, and it ain't because of nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not nervous for anyone in particular, but it's the people who are supposed to be here to protect and serve that it's seeming like you have to kind of be concerned about these days. Anyway, y'all, let me jump into it. I'm going to read a little bit on this story. And I don't know that I'm going to put any clips for this story in my video because the video is very graphic. In fact, it gives a disclaimer warning. This story contains violent video. Police said the women were attempting to disturb the peace, but the cousins say they were simply trying to go to the store. This story was published on June 3rd. Today is June 7th. So that's approximately 4 days ago. I will definitely be posting my fair use copyright disclaimer because I'm not going to repost this story or repost the video because, again, it is graphic in nature, and because I am a small YouTuber and I'm trying to grow, that's just not a risk I'm going to be willing to take. However, I'm going to read a little bit. I'm going to just read a few clips from this story. Okay. So the title of the story reads, Black woman pulled from car, kneeled on by Chicago police officers outside Northwest Side Mall. Quote, I was scared for my life. End quote. Belmont Cragen, I guess that's the city. I think that's the name of the city. Belmont Cragen, a Black woman running errands in Belmont Cragen on Sunday, was pulled from a car and brutalized by Chicago police in an encounter captured on video. Mia Wright, Tnika Tate, and three others. Okay, wait a minute. That's not all one word. That's two names. Mia Wright, Tnika Tate, and three others were headed to Brickyard Mall, 2600 North Mareskinnet Avenue. I'm probably not saying that right. Sunday afternoon to pick up some supplies for a small birthday celebration. Tate said only to discover the mall was closed due to the looting the night before. The mall was shuttered as neighbors worked to repair the damage. Tate, age 39, turned around to leave the mall when she saw a group of Chicago police officers and pulled over to get out of their way, she said. Seconds later, about a dozen officers rushed her car with guns drawn, she said, in a violent confrontation caught on video. Officers then smashed the windows, dragged 25-year-old Wright out of the car by her hair, threw her to the ground, and pinned her by her neck. Eerily reminiscent of the police confrontation that led to George Floyd's death in Minneapolis, sparking massive protests throughout the country. A male family friend was also pulled from the car. It was devastating because there was nothing we could do, Tate said. Wright and Tate spoke to Block Club Chicago, which is the people whose article I'm reading from, um, about the frenzied encounter by a bystander caught on video. It was shared on social media by their cousin, Chicago-based journalist Adrian Samuel. The cousin said they don't know what precipitated the incident. Wright was detained for several hours, charged with disorderly conduct, and suffered injuries from the shattered glass hitting her face. She was not arrested but had her car seized by the police. Police said Wright was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct after after the offender was observed by responding officers assembled with three or more persons for the purpose of using force or violence to disturb the peace. This baffles the cousins as they hadn't even exited the car. Wright has a June 22nd court hearing on the charge. When asked about the brutality caught on video, police issued the following statement. The Chicago Police Department strives to treat all individuals our officers encounter with respect. Misconduct on the part of our officers will not be tolerated. Very interesting. Very interesting, y'all. So there is, like the report says, at least a dozen officers surround this small car in what looks like a mall parking lot, and they just go in and they start beating on the windows with their batons. The story goes on further to read, quote, I was scared for my life, end quote. Tate said the officers were shouting indistinguishable commands as they approached her car. Before Tate and Wright could comprehend what was happening, the officers smashed in the windows and ripped the door handle off the car. Officers grabbed Wright by her hair and pulled her from the car, she said. The bystander footage shows the cops throwing Wright and one other person to the ground. One officer held her down with his knee pushed into the back of her neck. As Wright was being pinned to the ground, she said, what happened to Floyd flashed in her mind. It hit me at that moment. That's all I thought about. I heard people screaming, why do you have your knee in her neck? That's why people are protesting, Wright said. It was horrible. It was a moment I was scared for my life. Wright said she was in such terror that she didn't notice the razor sharp shards of glass that lodged in her eye when police smashed the windows inches from her face. She finally felt the pain of the glass when she was in the back of the squad car. She begged to see a medic to save her eye, but she didn't get to a hospital until an hour after she was taken to the Grand Central Police Station. At the station, Wright said she was verbally abused by a sergeant. The sergeant opened the door and he looked me in the face and called me a effing savage, she said. While in lockup, she said she wasn't given access to an attorney and couldn't call her mother for more than 6 hours. Wright was released 16 hours later with the charge of disorderly conduct. Officers said she was gathered with 3 or more people with intent to disturb the peace, but Wright said she and her 4 family members were sitting quietly in their car. Tate was not arrested at the scene, but officers arrested her cousin with no explanation, she said. Officers told her she would have to take the bus to the police station to get her damaged car back. When Tate arrived at the station, a sergeant gave the car back with no paperwork explaining why it was taken. Police don't have information on why the car was taken and don't have any vehicle information listed in Wright's arrest records. Chicago police spokesman Officer Ronald Westbrook said, Tate said she told Fisk she wanted to file a misconduct complaint, but she was instead directed to call 311 to report the issue. Tate said the complaint line is inaccessible due to the overwhelming number of complaints being made across the city. They scare you with these weapons in their hands, and they're using excessive force. They don't feel as necessary to tell you anything. They just feel that they can do whatever they want to do, and there's no repercussions, Tate said. Days later, Tate was hesitant to say the attack was racially motivated, but due to the way she and her cousin was treated, she believes race is the only possible reason the police, decided to terrorize and scare them. So I can see why a lot of people are protesting. I can actually see why these people are just going absolutely berserk. She said, though she had never thought to participate in any of the protests before. The most hurtful part of the incident was explaining to her 3-year-old son what had happened after she came home shaken and disturbed in a beat up car. I feel so saddened that my baby is saying, Mommy, the police did that to you? I'm scared of the police, she said. I can understand how people get PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. Wright's vision was not damaged by the glass that lodged into her eye, but she said she is struggling with a lot of physical pain and emotional pain. At night, her mind jolts back to those traumatic moments. She hasn't slept in days, she said. Anxiety creeps over her when she hears the sound of approaching footsteps and sirens in the distance. She said she is constantly looking over her shoulder, fearful that once again a police officer will appear. Wright's doctor prescribed her medications to deal with the anxiety. She now takes muscle relaxers to manage the pain she feels in her body from being manhandled. I know I need to have some counseling done because of everything. It makes me look at the police different after everything now, she said. They don't make me feel safe at all. They make me feel scared now, scared for my life. And then there's an editor's note here that says an earlier version of the story incorrectly stated 2 women were removed from a car that contained 2 women by officers. A woman and a man were removed from the car that contained 5 people, and the story has been updated. So this particular story is on the Block Club Chicago's website, and it says that Block Club is an independent 501c3 newsroom. So it's a local Chicago based journalistic corporation. In its original writings, original reporting. And let's see. The sources that they cite here are as a news piece. This article cites verifiable third-party sources which have all been fact-checked and deemed credible by the newsroom in accordance with the civil constitution. This article contains new first-hand information covered by reporters. This includes directly interviewing sources and research analysis of primary source documents. So, my apologies, guys. It definitely seems like a credible source that the story is coming out of Chicago on. And like I said, turn that bright light down. I have actually heard about the story earlier on YouTube on another YouTuber's channel. And I found it very odd for a couple of reasons. A, I hadn't heard about it on the news, and I watched a lot of news because I cover these type of stories in my weekly recaps. It's what I do. And I've been watching the news closely, CNN, NBC, CBS. I've been following all of the large news media outlets just to keep myself abreast of what's going on. And I had not heard hide nor peep this particular story. And when you go back and actually see the actual video footage on just how brutal this particular attack was, it's a little alarming. It's a little alarming. So just coming on to share yet another story that we need to be keeping our eyes on and making sure that justice is served. Because, I mean, it doesn't appear that these women were doing anything illegal. There were no indications that any laws were being broken. And in this tense environment that we're in right now, I mean, it's just absolutely unacceptable for women, really of any color, to be treated this way. But I mean, under these crazy, crazy circumstances in the current racially tense environment that we're currently in, it just makes it even that much more worse. So I share the story because, like I said, it was shared by someone else, and that's how information gets out. You all, if you're familiar with the story, drop down in the comments and let me know what your thoughts are. Have you heard about this story? Because, like I said, I was totally oblivious to it. If so, drop down in the comments and let me know. Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter. And what do you think we should be doing going forward to alleviate these type of events from occurring? I mean, it's getting ridiculous. It's not even actually getting ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous at this point. And it's very unsafe. Like, I can't even begin to imagine that young lady's anxiety level and her stress level, and the mere fact that she's now dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. I can totally believe that. She's probably going to need a lot of counseling. You know, she's probably having to stay heavily medicated just to be comfortable and at ease. No one should have to go through all that. And then the damage that was done to the cousin's vehicle, her windows were busted out. Her door handle was literally ripped off of the passenger side door. It's just a lot going on there, guys. But anyway, Drop down in the comments and let me know what your thoughts are on this story. I'm Pandi of Pandi's Hair, Candy, and More. If you did not do so on your way in, please don't forget to blow dry on that like button for your girl. I would greatly appreciate it. I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.